I mean, whether he can actually take credit can be debated, but Musk did flood more than $250 million into the race. He intended to give another $100 million to Trump's political operation. So what happens if he doesn't and he directs, let's say the money instead to defeating MAGA-endorsed candidates?
It'll be interesting to watch it play out. I think that, Elon Musk did not understand how government worked, especially government, ours. And that we saw kind of in an egregious way because he came in and tried slashing things, and that'll still be, debated in the courts. He just didn't understand bureaucracy, and things don't operate the way that he probably would like for businesses to operate, right? There's a separation there for a reason. And I just, I think when it comes to elections, the House Republicans and Senate Republicans, by and large, are going to stand behind President Trump, right? They're more short-term thinking as far as we've got to get through this bill. We got to pass the president's agenda. They're on the same team. Elon came in at the last minute, essentially, with this election and threw his support behind President Trump, but really has been more of a nuisance than anything. And so, if Democrats want to take his money, and that's their decision. But I just think that moving forward, Republicans are pretty, okay with the fact that Elon's out.
Teddy, what about the risk of investigations into Musk, as Steve Bannon, of course, a fierce critic of Musk, is calling for? Because we saw recent reports of allegedly excessive drug use by Musk during last year's campaign that could warrant probes, plus allegations that Musk initially didn't have a legal basis to live and work here in the U.S., which then puts his immigration status at risk. Is there any appetite in Trump world to take this on?
Yeah, I mean, we reported yesterday that Trump has been sort of asking people, perhaps idly, perhaps not idly, whether or not Musk is doing drugs right now. And is that he must be acting out so unstably because, he's on drugs. I mean, I'm not saying that's true. I'm saying that's what Trump is saying. Clearly there are vulnerabilities, to say the least. Obviously, given the amount of federal contracts, there's the opportunity for attribution. But, Trump is vindictive, and a lot of things are on the table, right? You never know. Like, I can't give you an answer to say that he wouldn't do it because Trump does a lot of stuff. But clearly, there are vulnerabilities, and there's the, Musk's kind of sordid, chaotic personal life is an opportunity for Trump to frankly screw with him if he would like to.
So, Megan, even Russia has weighed in on this. There's one official who joked about hosting peace talks. Another offered for Musk to come work over there. Are U.S. adversaries pouncing on this upheaval or a perceived weakness here somehow?
I mean, they have every right to. This is a joke, right? These two billionaires are having a fight publicly on social media platforms over who can line each other's pockets more. I mean, it's just disgusting that we're even having to deal with this, but it's more embarrassing to our country that our adversaries are now weighing in. But this is also creating a vulnerability for them. They see weakness and they see how to get under Trump's skin. They see a way in. And I think that we should be cautious of that. And I think that they'll take full advantage of that, whether it's covertly or very out in the open, like that comment that you just posted on the screen.
Samara, House Republicans, we saw them scrambling to mollify Musk after speaking out about the mega policy bill. But with Trump and Musk in a full-on feud, where does that leave these lawmakers? Do they flip again? Do they then attack Musk?
The sad reality is that hypocrisy runs rampant in politics, right? So we're not, novices to that. We've seen that play out many times, but on both sides of the aisle. You're seeing it with the attack ads that Democrats have been placing, putting Trump and Elon together as buddies. Do those ads need to be recut now because they want to champion what Elon is saying against the bill? This is part of the game, unfortunately, and it's not a pretty side of it. To Megan's point, it is quite embarrassing, not only here in the United States, but also on the world stage. But I think for Republicans, they need to look at, okay, what is it that we need to get done? Taking away, going above the fray, which has been hard to find with many of the members of the House and the Senate, but it's that time is to move above the fray. And remember, again, this shouldn't be surprising. Donald Trump has been who he has been. Elon should not have been surprised. Donald Trump has said from day one he wanted to do tariffs. He has been pretty much himself from the get-go. And so everyone who has turned against him, whether from former officials and Elon Musk, it's on them, not on Trump. He has been who he has been, and they chose whether they saw an opportunity for themselves and they didn't play out how they liked it. So I think that's really what we're watching play out here is with him, with Elon Musk, and with others. So Republicans need to decide where they stand. And I think for a large portion of them, they'll stand.
A closer look into what she calls the betrayal of the Democratic Party that led Biden to end his bid for re-election. But her book is titled Independent, to look inside a broken White House. So can she portray Biden as the victim in all of this while calling his White House broken?
I mean, the title there and the announcement that she's leaving the Democratic Party is part of this. What better way to try and sell your book than to do some sort of bombshell announcement like this? And I don't say this to be cruel, and I wouldn't purport to know the full extent of what she was up against being press secretary. But when you look at the 17 press secretaries, KJP wasn't the best, right? We can be honest and say that she wasn't very good at her job. And so for her to think that she would have her own show like a Jen Psaki, or that she would be on The View, as it was reported that she wanted and was seeking a position there. I mean, she has the same sort of situation that many in the political field face, which is the downfall of their own ego. And in this situation, she is truly, as Megan said, this is about personal selfish ambition, not necessarily trying to be some sort of whistleblower. I think that, listen, are there plenty of people who are government officials who have gone, and spoke out against their former bosses to maybe get a government or a TV contract? Sure. But I think the situations are a little bit different than what's happening here, because I think by and large, Democrats are going to be faced with the issue of trust. And KJP, Ron Klain, and Nita Dunn, they're all at the center of the issues that there was a trust issue around Joe Biden's inner circle.